Did you know Volkswagen's cheapest car uses LFP batteries, costs 6,000 US dollars, has a range of up to 300 kilometers, is about the same size as the Volkswagen Up, but looks better, and is one of the company's biggest success stories over the past 6 months. But nobody has even heard of it. It's incredible. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you here. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. I hope you've had a great week. Hope you've had an amazing day, because seriously, things don't get much stranger than this. Why on earth does Volkswagen not sell this car in other markets? Now, Legacy Auto honestly baffle me. They totally baffle me. They don't make any sense at all. Think about this, right? Tesla manufactures, hundreds of thousands of cars in China, the majority of which they send to other markets. For some bizarre reason, almost all legacy auto companies don't send their cars out of China. It doesn't make any sense. For an example, if Tesla manufactured this car in China, there's a pretty damn good chance you'd be able to buy one. But they don't. So unfortunately, you can't. Now, incredibly, realistically, Volkswagen has been struggling massively in China. Volkswagen once acted as leader and educator to help China create its modern automotive industry. Its Santana sedan was the beginning of learning about cars for many of China's first generation of car owners. For decades since Volkswagen entered China in the 1980s, it was the top seller every year. Now, as Volkswagen initiates a radical shift towards EVs, it's facing declining sales in the world's largest auto market and shrinking demand for its mid-sized vehicles, amidst fierce competition from Tesla and local Chinese EV manufacturers. Volkswagen sold 4.23 million cars in China in 2019, but in 2020, the total declined by 9.1%. In 2021, as China's passenger car market grew by 6.5%, Volkswagen sales declined a further 14%. The decline is difficult to reverse in the short term, and if Volkswagen does not adjust soon, the decline could accelerate in 2022, says a chief analyst at Diess Research Institute. Doesn't seem like much of an issue, right? But it is. China is Volkswagen's biggest market, period. It's bigger than its European market. It contributes 40% of sales and half of all profits. 40% of sales and half of all profits. So 50%, in fact, 52% of all of Volkswagen's profit came from China last year. Now, through two joint ventures, SAIC Volkswagen Automotive Co. Limited and FAW Volkswagen Automobile Company Limited, the group sells locally made models including Audi, Skoda, and Jetta. However, through its now prioritized joint venture with JAC that it now owns 75% of after acquiring an additional 25%, which it finalized a few months ago, it manufactures this awesome little electric car. And it's not as small as you think. In fact, it's not a K car. It is technically a car. In fact, it's 3.6 meters long. K cars are around about 3 meters long, and it's got quite a bit of interior space. In fact, the interior is very similar in size to a Volkswagen Polo. Now, surprisingly, this is actually one of Volkswagen's biggest success stories over the past 12 months. They only started selling this car back in February of 2021, when they sold 560. By November of last year, they sold 5,500. No one seemed to even have heard about the car still. The same trend has continued this year. They sold 4,500 of these in January alone, which is traditionally one of the worst months of the year for car sales in China. So what are the details? Well, the Sehol E10X EV is actually a restyled version of the JAC IEV6E, bit of a mouthful, sold in China by the joint venture between JAC and Volkswagen Group, which as I mentioned before, Volkswagen Group now owns 75%. In addition to that, they are planning on literally making potentially millions of Sehol electric vehicles at their new factory, which is 80% completed, called Volkswagen Anhui in China. They're also building a battery factory right next door. It's Volkswagen's biggest project currently anywhere outside of Germany in the world. So what's the actual size? Well, it's 3,650 millimeters long, 1,670 millimeters wide, and 1,495 millimeters high. And it has a wheelbase of 2.4 meters. It's available with two different powertrain options. An electric model with 30 kilowatt and 95 newton meters of torque with a battery of 15 kilowatt hours. That model costs $6,000. Then the mid-range model comes with a 19.7 kilowatt hour battery pack, which will give the vehicle 200 kilometers of range. And that model there costs $8,000. Then the top spec model comes with a 45 kilowatt motor with 150 newton meters of torque. That's plenty of torque for a car this size. You have no problems driving one of these on a highway. And that comes with a battery of 30.2 kilowatt hours, which provides a range of 300 kilometers. Now, all battery packs in these cars are lithium iron phosphate battery packs, right? If Volkswagen was currently selling these in Europe, in other countries around the world, guess what? They would have been barely affected by the increased costs in manufacturing lithium batteries over the past 3, 4, 5 months. Because lithium iron phosphate batteries, right, don't have any nickel in them. They're much cheaper. In fact, on average, they're about half the price of the lithium ternary batteries Volkswagen uses in all of its EVs that are made outside of China. You know, on the face of it, this is actually one of the best electric cars for the money that you can buy in China. And they even have a female version. You can't make this stuff up. Back on the 22nd of November, the company actually launched what they called two different models, two new electric car models. It wasn't really. There was one new electric car model. I'll put a link in the description below to that vehicle because it's a Tesla Model 3 competitor for half the price. I mean, literally half the price. And the specifications are very similar. It's incredibly good. I'll put a link and check out that video. They also announced the female version of this car, which they called a new model. It wasn't really a new model, but it was more expensive. This new version of the Sehol E10X electric car, they called Huaxangxi. I don't know. I gave it a shot. Probably got that pronunciation wrong. But anyway, that translates to flower fairy. And the idea was to kind of target female consumers by calling it a flower fairy. Now, this new variant of the car is quite a bit more expensive. It starts at $10,000 and goes up to $12,000, but it only covers the top two models. So what the company actually did was they included some new specs in the car in terms of the interior. They made it a bit nicer. They put in a boneless wiper. I have no idea what a boneless wiper is. They put in 360-degree electronic holographic display, automated parking assist, a 12.8-inch mounted digital display, significantly larger than the model in the male version. I'll call it the male version, which is 7 to 10.25 inches. And apparently, the voice recognition works a lot better. I don't know if that's just for females, whether or not the voice recognition works better if it's for males and females, but that's what they said. Other than those changes, everything was the same. So you can see they have two different models here. The so-called men's version, or the so-called men's and women's version, and the female-only version. Obviously, they're not saying if you're not a female, you can't buy it, as far as I know anyway. So the interesting thing here, right, is that Volkswagen had this incredible electric car they're making. And honestly, from the reviews I've seen, it's pretty damn good. Looks good on the outside, looks good on the inside. The price is good, the range is good, the specifications are good. It would sell incredibly well outside of China. And it's selling really well in China too. Now, the interesting thing is that because Volkswagen has decided to prioritize on this company, Sehol, because they own 75% of this company, they've kind of moved away a little bit in terms of their investments. They're investing a lot more money into this new business. That means their joint ventures with SAIC and FAW are causing some problems. SAIC, which is a state Chinese-owned company, and FAW are saying, we see the writing on the wall, Volkswagen. We can see that you want to focus on this new car company, this new car brand. You're not investing the money with us. That's causing problems in China for Volkswagen because apparently this has become political. Now, a report in Automotive News Europe in November of last year says that Volkswagen's Chinese plan with JAC is sparking significant tensions with its other partners. And this could be a challenge because, like I said, China was and remains the largest source of Volkswagen's income. 50% of Volkswagen's earnings and cash flow currently come from China. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. However, my key question to you today is, would you buy one of these for $6,000 or would you buy the 300-kilometer long-range version for $10,000? I think a lot of people would even be willing to pay double that price. Volkswagen, bring them here. Bring them to Australia. You're not bringing your electric cars here anyway. You might as well do something. Bring them to Australia. Tesla can bring the Model 3 that's made in China to Australia. You can bring this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.